Welcome to the AthletesShine.com radio podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Olszewski, and I'm joined by Oakland Raiders defensive end Branden Jackson. How are you doing, Branden?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, so I kind of want to take you back to the draft and when you were undrafted. So when you got undrafted, What were your thoughts on that? Like, did you ever feel discouraged, or did you know that there was always going to be a plan for you?
I never got discouraged. I felt like there's a reason why it happened, and I just was going to have to work a little harder. Growing up, my mom said, I was going to be the best at everything, but if you're God's preference, if God prefers you, then, nothing can be against you. So I just took it as another challenge that I was going to have to climb.
And the challenge was you got signed by the Raiders, put on the practice squad. What was practice squad like? Like, did you ever think that you would get that call up this year?
Practice squad is the most humbling experience any athlete can go through. I mean, it's 12 times worse than redshirting. It's just the likelihood of being brought up after you see numerous people brought up and some that even play positions. Just sometimes it mentally wears on you, and you just got to find something that keeps you staying the course. And to be honest with you, I didn't think I would be brought up this year. I thought I'd go a whole year with just learning the system and growing within the program. And I was just blessed enough to be able to come in and help the team in the way that I was able to.
And was there anyone during that time that gave you any advice on the team that, reassured yourself like, oh, I can do this?
Yeah, Bruce Irvin and Khalil Mack every day was in my ear just telling me that I'm up next and that I can't just be running around here, woe with me, and if I want to play, show them that I want to play and make sure I'm always in my book and make sure I know the game plan each week because you never know what's going to happen. And they always preach, we need everybody, and just so happen they needed me.
Speaking of Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvin, like, just from a fan perspective, those are like two of the top players in the league. What is it like watching them every day?
It's amazing. It's like seeing thunder and lightning off the edge. You see Bruce with such swiftness and quickness and the way he's able to bend and get off the ball. And you see Khalil Mack gets off the ball just as fast, but he has this brute strength and power and relentlessness. I mean, it's encouraging to watch, and sometimes you get caught up at practice just being in awe of these guys, like knowing that they're no longer your, they're your peers now. They're not the person that you're watching on Sunday, the people you're competing with. But it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. As a Texans fan, I had to watch that the other night.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
So when you were told you were put on the active roster, like, what were the emotions going through your mind?
I was extremely emotional. I was just telling myself that this is why I went undrafted. This is why I haven't been activated. This is the first time that my mom was able to come out to California just to see a game. She wanted to see a game live, so I was able to fly her out. And that's the week that I get brought up. I said, it was supposed to happen like this. This is the way that it was scripted for me.
Yeah, and, from the practice squad, going through practices and everything like that, when you're finally on the active roster, are practices any different? Is there extra pressure on you?
No, the practices are the same. With the Raiders organization, it's the same amount of demands on you regardless if you're active or not because, like they say, at one point in the season, everyone's going to have to be able to make a play or be able to play when their number's called. So it was the same thing I was still doing, giving the offense the looks that they need, preparing for the other defenses, and then getting in with the ones and twos for defense and learning a program, which I had already been doing.
And finally playing in your first NFL game against the Bills, I mean, when you're stepping out on that field, what is going through your mind? Like, yeah.
My mind was moving 1,000 miles per hour. I was blessed enough to be starting on kickoff return, so I got to get that first play and get those nerves out. And after that play, which happened to be a touchback, it was kind of like football. Once I got it on my first defensive snap, it was football. I hit in the face by the lineman. I actually made a tackle on the first play in, so I was ready to go after that.
Yeah, and what was it like with the Oakland Raider fans? Because those are crazy bunches. But They're also probably not that much different from Texas Tech. So Texas Tech at night, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, the fans are crazy, and I guess whenever you have Raiders anywhere within your team name, you're gonna have crazy fans because the fans at Texas Tech and the fans at Oakland compared to each other, they're very similar and they're very loud and crazy. And I would hate to be an opposing team having to hear their mouths.
And playing in 2 weeks, how would you grade your performance so far with the team?
I'll give myself probably a C, just because I'm still trying to get in the groove of everything. I'm playing situational, so I'm playing what as needed. Right now, I'm trying to work my way into being a major part of the defense and not just a sub guy.
And obviously this is just your first year, but I mean, this isn't the same old Raiders. This is actually a winning Raiders team. What kind of a culture have you noticed inside the team that might be different from others?
To be honest with you, this is the closest thing to family I've ever seen. You hear a lot of teams, especially in college, preach about this is family atmosphere, family atmosphere. There's never been one that I've been around that's been like this Oakland Raiders team. There's a group of men whose mind says the exact same and who push each other to their limits and who never get down on each other. And I believe that's what the key success was to coming back and being able to rally in the games, because no one literally wants to let the other person down. Like, that's taking the heart. And like I said, it's the closest thing to a family I've ever been around.
And you guys are in the playoff race this season. How was the team feeling after the loss last night?
On to the next one. You know, we walked in there. We said that one's done over. Can't do nothing now. Everything we want is still out ahead of us. So we took that one. We watched film, break it down, and that's just that. Everything we want to accomplish is still in front of us, and that's the mindset going forward.
And kind of a summary over something here. If I told you before the draft process, going back into college, that in your first NFL season you would be in the playoff race and on the roster, would you have believed it?
No, I would not have believed it at all. I would have probably said I hope to be in the in the NFL period, whether practice squad or active.
Yeah. Okay, so I got 2 more questions for you. Kind of from the fans. I asked some fans what they wanted you to answer, and one was, how is is anyone in the locker room or anyone in the players talking about relocation rumors?
I don't know. It's never been brought up. Everything is about town business, and the players love Oakland and love the history within the program. And I've never once heard anyone talk about relocation. They don't play things like that on TV when we're in this facility. All that is outside noise that we don't concern ourselves with.
And one more question. KC or Denver, who is the biggest threat to you guys?
The biggest threat to us is Denver, because there's the next opponent. We already played KC twice. We still got to play Denver. So we'll worry about KC next time we see them.
Oh, and also, who's the biggest threat in the league right now? Biggest threat player in the league right now?
The biggest what?
Biggest threat as a player in the league right now?
I would have to say Khalil Mack. If you watch what he's done the last 3 weeks, last 8 weeks, really, 8 weeks, 8 sacks. How many of them been sack fumbles? The biggest threat.